Okay, before we begin painting, I want to show off my new paint table now, because since I moved the original table to the other side of my room, I was using a little rinky-dink type of foldable table, which, in all due fairness, was not the best thing to use. Uncomfortable, a little wobbly here and there, plus it made a lot of noise. As a matter of fact, we're going to test this out now. I got this table at IKEA, and as you can see, it doesn't make that vibration sound like it used to. However, I am still looking into the possibility of replacing this guy in the future. Something a little bit more modern, something a little bit more easier to use and work with. The same holds true with the airbrush. Right now, I have the airbrush on a foam, and it's not giving me that weird vibration sound from the airbrush as well. So the decibels are not as loud as it used to be. So now we move on to the next part, and that is the paints. I'm going to be testing out all these paints, as you can see here. I was originally going to do the testing when I did the introduction of the Modo paints, but I said I might as well do it here and cover both bases here. I also got the thinner here. We're going to focus on the primary colors first for the kit. So clearly we need the, let's see here, the pure white, the yellow, the red, the blue, and, well, there's no black. We're going to need the gunmetal. Since those are the only 5 colors, other than the other color, what do you call it? The neon green for the sensor. Whether I'm going to use that or not, I have no idea. I'm going to begin pouring all these paints into these little empty bottles here, you could see, and customize them so that way I have you know, my pre-shade or pre-prepared paints for this kit. Actually, we can do that right now. So we're going to do a nice little stir here. This little mat here that you see here, this was my original hobby mat when I first started building Gundam on my YouTube channel. It got dirty, it got old and all that stuff, and I used it as a support for the base under the matting. When I put the table on, even though I have plastic on this, I knew sooner or later paint's gonna go on this. Oh, nice. Interesting. You know what? I thought this bottle was like the original Modo paints, where it had a little cap over it. Fair enough. Let me just do a little more mixture. So yeah, I was gonna get some cardboard and put it on, but I said this one looks a little bit more presentable and easy to work with. And I have another one that's also like a little ruined out, so been thinking of buying another mat, which I forgot, I think it's an A2 or A1 mat. Any recommendations on a new mat? Let me know. Alright, so we're gonna do, let's see here, up to there, roughly 5% of the bottle. And just wipe off the excess. Put this to the side. Now I know many people like to do is I've seen a couple model builders what they do is they take the model, they take the paint bottle, and they use a heat gun and remove the label, and they put it on the bottle that they used. That they put on so that way they can mark it. I'm just gonna get a regular marker and mark it my own. Now, according to the people who were telling me, it's usually 1 to 1.5. I'm just gonna eyeball it. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. I should have used a siphon or a regular spoon type thing, but it should be fine. I'll clean that up in a minute. So once it settles down, we'll review the paint. I'm going to be doing it for the rest, and then we'll do some testing and see how they look. Alright, so I've already have my pre-prepared paints in the bottles that you see here. 1, 3, 4, 5, and number 20. I have another empty bottle which I don't know where it is, so I can put number 2 in there, but that's going to be for later, no big deal. I did 1 to nearly 1.5, maybe 1/3 of the thinner to paint ratio, you could say. But clearly, when I do a little test, we'll see how well it flows from my airbrush. I do see a little bit of like paint settling down, but I kind of eyeballed it a bit. I'm doing it this amount, and then later on, if I see a vast improvement, I'll put more thinner if I have to, or more paint and thinner ratio to see how it works. But at least I have something to work with here. Now I'm going to begin using the MK11 on these spoons. So let me prepare this so we can actually see how well the the primer flows from my airbrush to the spoons. Alright, so here's a standard spoon. I'll put the thinner on this, and I give it a 2-to-1 ratio on this compared to the paints. It does go nice and smooth on this. Very nice. I don't know if you guys can see that. Now, this product is very, very flammable, and there's a lot of fumes here. So I have my little mask on here, which hold on a second, I gotta readjust it again. I know there are those who don't like to use masks during painting, unless it's acrylic, but still use masks. But the fumes on this is so strong, I'm gonna have to wear it, of course. If you have a humidifier or some sort of air filter around, make sure you have it. But yeah, I mean, the color goes nice. I mean, that one's wet, but this one's a bit dry. So I'm going to be testing out a few of these. I'm going to actually probably prime about a few more spoons, and then we're going to test out the colors and see how they look overall. So give me a few moments while I prepare this. Alright, so we're going to try the white part, the white color first. See how it is. Little amount of white. I just put a few drops in there, but let's do a little bit more. There we go. goes really fast. You know what? I'm looking at my PSIs. It's a little too high. Let me clock it down a bit. Make sure this thing is properly set. Whoops, there we go. That's it. Alright, let's try this again. The flow is a lot better here. Alright. I think that looks good. Move on to the next color now. Alright, next up is going to be the red color. See how this looks. Nice. Finish it up right there. Alright. That completes the red. Next color. Next up is the yellow. Now granted, usually you have to paint part white to bring it, you know, a much more brilliant yellow, but we're going to use the primer as the default for now. I know that yellow is like one of the most hardest colors to pull off, depending on what you have on the background. Next up is going to be the blue. Let's see how this looks. Good coverage though. Oh, very nice. Alright, next color. Alright, and the last one is going to be the gunmetal, which is MX-20. Gunmetal. let's wait until this all dries. We'll review these colors in a few moments. Alright, so here's a close-up of all the spoons that I just finished painting. Here's the control spoon, which is basically the thinner MK11. Not thinner, sorry. The Surfacer Gray MK11, which has good solid coverage. Here's the white, which is nice and solid and pretty okay. Goes on nice and smooth, especially when I pre-thinned it. We have the yellow, which there's a little bit of a notch there, I think because of particles must have fell on it. But it looks good. It's a good coverage. Now, like I mentioned before, if it has a white background, it would probably be more illuminant than you see here. A much brighter shade. Which, of course, we should talk about something like that, because I know many people say that, you know, it should put a white background on it. But then again, if you're going to do a darker tone, you don't need to brighten up a yellow where you know eventually you're going to darken up the yellow. That's a matter of perspective. Someone looking at one kit in a different light, whether it's going to be a weathered effect, whether it's going to be like brand new out of the factory effect type of thing. So yeah, this is okay. The red is nice and brilliant, of course, and again, same situation. If it was a white background, it would probably be a lot better. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, when I was actually spraying the primer, the last part came out a little bit rough around, you know, in the texture. So hopefully that doesn't diminish the fact that this is a very beautiful and well lit up color. Here is the royal blue. This is actually very nice. Absolutely very nice. I like that. And then I think one of my favorites is going to be the gunmetal, which is going to be good for inner frame, armored parts, weaponries, some details here and there. So yeah, here are all the colors. Now, I did mention before that we need to find out which color I should use for the blue, whether I should use the royal blue or should I use the cobalt blue, number 4, Promax. And I also did another sample right here. What do you think of that? You know what? I know many of you are probably going to say you choose this, but I like this one better. This is a good color tone, so great for like two-tone colors on kits that are, you know, more than one blue. And I think you guys know which blue kits are coming out now. So as much as the fact that I like this color, it will be put to the side, and I'll still use this guy. So, sorry, no voting. This is, of course, the flat white, which is more of a flat tone than the gloss tone, which I didn't do yet. This is, of course, the black, which I haven't done yet as well. And this is the flat base, which I will apply after the kit has been primed and painted and primed and painted. Excuse me. So, yeah, I really like these colors. Now that my desk is now prepared and set up, and you know what? This lamp that I have, it's one of those little weird lamps that has like 2 notches at the end of a bulb. So I have to find another bulb that has that notches that's more soft white, not this like burning white color tone. I can always pull out one of my lamps and put them over here, but right now I'm just going to leave it here for now. Let me begin priming the high-grade Gundam Origins so we can begin painting.